本周国际媒体瞩目的焦点人物有2位男士，对全球发展起了一些重要的关键影响。一位是影响世界和平秩序的以色列总理纳坦雅胡，一位是让反西方阵营跟西方阵营都很紧张的土耳其总统埃尔段。一直以来，土耳其在中东地缘格局中具有重要地位，但埃尔段执政后，土耳其更是积极扩大在伊斯兰世界领导角色。同时，土耳其作为北约成员国之一，它的外交政策还兼具西方与伊斯兰世界的双重影响。当2023年10月意外扩大的以巴战争越演越烈，不少国家期盼联合国能发挥关键的止战举措。但是300多个日子过去，以色列在总理纳坦雅胡领导之下，战略从歼灭加萨地区的哈马斯阵营扩大战线，又向中东穆斯林多线开战发展趋势。
In Tel Aviv, the sound of sirens reverberated throughout the city, and explosions lit up the night skies overhead.
There were reports of the first face-to-face fighting going on. Hezbollah say they pushed those Israeli forces back.
The United States has promised that it's standing by Israel and has over and over reiterated that it supports Israel's right to defend itself.
Israel has the right to defend itself.
We have said from the very beginning, Israel has a right to defend itself.
We have been clear that we support Israel's right to self-defense.
And following a series of attacks that left infrastructure and communications decimated, the death of Nasrallah leaves Hezbollah's future uncertain. In addition to Nasrallah, the airstrike also claimed the lives of some of the group's key commanders. Experts have identified Executive Council Hesham Safi al-Din as a potential successor, though it remains unclear if he was also a casualty of the attacks. And in the days since Nasrallah's death, Israel has continued to carry out attacks on Hezbollah targets. And while the group possesses a significant arsenal of rockets and weaponry, they have yet to retaliate on a large scale.
Hezbollah has been trying to keep this conflict from escalating. I think Hezbollah wouldn't want to be blamed by the rest of Lebanon for bringing such destruction upon the country.
Experts also suggest that Hezbollah may be weighing its options carefully before responding, as Nasrallah's death not only impacts Hezbollah, but also its allies, including its main backer, Iran.
The understanding is that Iran is being consulted. They're very heavily involved in Hezbollah operations, and so Iran could mobilize some of its other allies and proxies in the region. Houthis in Yemen could fire similar missiles towards Israel. Iranian-backed groups in Iran and Syria could fire drones and send drones towards Israel. Then there's the more concerning potential that Iran takes out the precision-guided missiles and other powerful weapons to use against Israel. And also, it could pursue more directly its nuclear program, sort of making a calculation that its proxy strategy has failed and it needs to pursue a nuclear bomb in order to re-establish deterrence with Israel.
The United States is watching the situation closely, hoping Nasrallah's death might present opportunities to resurrect ceasefire talks.
Time for a ceasefire.
Time for a ceasefire， 这是全世界的期盼。然而，要为中东这场区域战事写下落幕的情节，并非容易的事情。尤其当主角不肯退场，这出戏就更难下档。
Assembly will hear an address by His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of the State of Israel. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly. Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order. Ladies and gentlemen, order. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly. Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order. Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order. Order, please. I request protocol to escort His Excellency and invite him to address the Assembly. Order, please. Order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, order. Ladies and gentlemen. Order, please.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't intend to come here this year. My country is at war, fighting for its life. But after I heard the lies and slanders leveled at my country by many of the speakers at this podium, I decided to come here and set the record straight. I decided to come here to speak for my people, to speak for my country, to speak for the truth. And here's the truth. Israel seeks peace. Israel yearns for peace. Israel has made peace and will make peace again. Yet we face savage enemies who seek our annihilation, and we must defend ourselves against these savage murderers. Our enemies seek not only to destroy us, they seek to destroy our common civilization and return all of us to a dark age of tyranny and terror.
Israel has no intention to pursue peace or a ceasefire. Regrettably, the UN Security Council has remained paralyzed due to the United States' obstruction of any effective decision by this body. Unwavering support provided by the United States, United Kingdom, and certain Western states to Israel has given a carte blanche to this aggressive terrorist regime for all sorts of sinister behavior. No more than ever, this regime has become a serious threat to international peace and security. Iran's action was in full accordance with the inherent right to self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter, and a direct response to the regime's repeated acts of aggression against Iran, including the violation of Iran's sovereignty and territorial integrity during the past months. Our invocation of the right of self-defense, followed by an extended period of restraint, reflects Iran's responsible approach to regional and international peace and security at a time when the illegal action and genocide carried out by this occupying apartheid regime against the Palestinian people. I wish to mention the key facts that clearly demonstrate Iran's action under self-defense is fully justified, lawful, and firmly grounded in international legal principles. On 1st April 2024, Israel presently attacked Iran's diplomatic mission in Damascus, Syria, in a blatant violation of international law. On 31st July 2024, Israel committed yet another act of aggression by assassination Mr. Ismail Haniyeh, Hamas political leader and the former Prime Minister of Palestine, while he was an official guest of the Iranian government in Tehran. This was a flagrant breach of Iran's national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Despite Iran's call for action, the Council again failed to act. Meanwhile, several states, including the United States, urged Iran to maintain restraint, citing ongoing ceasefire negotiations. We respected these calls for diplomacy, yet no ceasefire materialized.
The United Nations, under the roof of which we are found today, were established in the aftermath of the Second World War, in which millions of people have lost their lives to maintain international peace and security. With the establishment of the United Nations, expectations for global stability, peace, and justice were reborn, and hopes for peace were sprouted again. To put it bluntly, unfortunately, in the last few years, the United Nations has failed to fulfill its founding mission and has gradually become a dysfunctional structure. The world is bigger than five is my motto, it's my credo, and this credo represents our common values, and we need those values more than ever in this day and age. International justice cannot be left in the will of five privileged member states of the Security Council. And the most dramatic example to that is the war, the massacre that has been going on in Gaza for the last 350 days. And since October 7, 41,000 Palestinians have been killed in the continuous Israeli attacks. 172 journalists were killed while trying to do their job under very difficult circumstances. And more than 500 medics have been killed while they were trying to save lives. Humanitarian aid workers and the United Nations personnel who came to the rescue of the people of Gaza who were struggling with hunger and thirst were killed. More than 215 United Nations personnel. They hit marketplaces, tents, and camps where the refugees were sheltered. They hit 820 mosques and 3 churches that shouldn't have been touched even in war. And they deliberately hit dozens of hospitals, hundreds of schools, more than 130 ambulances carrying patients. They shredded the Charter of the United Nations from the rostrum of the United Nations and shamelessly challenged the whole world, who are people of conscience, from this very rostrum. They challenged them.
The singling out of the one and only Jewish state continues to be a moral stain on the United Nations. It has made this once respected institution contemptible in the eyes of decent people everywhere. But for the Palestinians, this UN House of Darkness is home court. They know that in this swamp of anti-Semitic bile, there's an automatic majority willing to demonize the Jewish state on anything. In this anti-Israel flat earth society, any false charge, any outlandish allegation can muster a majority. In the last decade, there have been more resolutions passed against Israel in this hall at the UN General Assembly than against the entire world combined. Actually, more than twice as many. Since 2014, this body condemned Israel 174 times. It condemned all the other countries in the world 73 times. That's more than 100 extra condemnations for the Jewish state. What hypocrisy, what a double standard, what a joke. So the UN's hostility.
中东地区复杂的国仇家恨 想化解需要时间与智慧。然而时间过去了，能够和平解决的大智慧却还没有看见。不过求发展、求国际影响力这件事，没有一个国家领袖会忘记，尤其是在强人领袖主导的年代。埃尔多安高龄70岁，在2003年至2014年间连任3届土耳其总理，然后在2014年起转任土耳其总统。他是土耳其第一位通过直选方式先后担任总理、总统职务的政治人物。他在联合国铿锵有力的发言，对已经被说成是瘫痪的国际组织起什么作用，其实大家都心知肚明。倒是老先生近期的举动，全世界都在安静地看着。土耳其一个北约成员国，对成立宗旨是将世界上最重要的发展中国家聚集在一起，挑战北美和西欧富裕国家的政治和经济实力所连结在一起的组织。金砖国家提出了申请。
Bloomberg Agency, citing its sources, reported that Turkey submitted a formal application to join BRICS a few months ago. In June 2024, the Turkish president noted that Ankara does not consider BRICS as an alternative to other organizations, and the country officially remains a candidate for EU membership. In August, Erdogan said Turkey should simultaneously develop relationships with both East and West.
We don't have to choose between the European Union and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. On the contrary, we have to develop our relations with both this and other organizations on a win-win basis.
根据国际货币基金组织2023年的统计数据，土耳其是世界第17大经济体，而欧盟是土耳其迄今为止最大的贸易伙伴。在2022年，欧盟与土耳其的贸易总额就接近2000亿欧元，加上土耳其经济主要是依赖于欧洲银行的帮助，所以土耳其跟欧盟有比较深的纠葛。加入欧盟自然是好的策略，可惜土耳其加入欧盟却没有想象中的顺利。对于急需外国投资以度过经济危机的土耳其来说，保持合作关系的多样化是不得不然的选择。
President Erdogan for a long time has criticized Western dominance in the world and in politics, for example, criticizing the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. So here it's trying to look for alternatives to this Western dominance. It's leading a dual strategy at the same time. And at the same time, BRICS allows Turkey new markets. The group there makes a significant portion of the GDP, so it can give it new trade routes, new markets, ways to improve its economy. And this all comes amid, like you said, some frustration with the EU.
But again, you have to think of who the other members are in BRICS. And you're talking about Brazil, you're talking about Russia, India, China. Obviously, Russia are in it. What sort of implications is that going to have on Turkey's relationship with the West and, of course, as a NATO member?
That's a very good question. But if you look at Turkey's strategy or foreign policy, in recent years, it has always tried to achieve a balancing act, even as a NATO ally, even during in the ongoing war in Ukraine. And it sees that the geopolitical center or the global order is changing. So it's trying to maintain good ties with both ways. But we'll have to see what the reaction from its Western allies will be.
当金砖国家这样一个以彰显全球南方政治力量的组织融入北约成员国土耳其之后，金砖国家从此是多了一个助力还是一个掣肘，还有待时间的证明。但是对土耳其来说，成功的把自己放在西方与反西方势力的天秤上，成为不可或缺的砝码。对于土耳其的未来，何尝不是光明在望？